Hello, welcome, I'm Hannah. Today I wanted to do a video that I saw Bow to the Brow do several months ago, and I thought it was such a good idea. What she did was she randomly selected a couple shadows from her collection, and she talked about whether or not she would repurchase them now, knowing everything that she does know about the shadow. I thought it was an interesting way to kind of approach my collection. I have a lot of shadows that I've collected over the years. A lot of them I kind of bought to try. I bought thinking maybe they would be fantastic, and they didn't turn out to be fantastic, but I already have them, so I keep them because maybe I'll wear them sometime. And I feel like I'm heading into a season of decluttering, so I thought this would be kind of an interesting mind exercise to look specifically at these shadows and consider, if I knew everything I knew now, would I still repurchase this shade? Also, conveniently, I have all of my shadows on little slips of paper in this little boot. If you don't know, I've historically randomly selected shadows. Currently, quick plug, I do this on my Patreon. Every month I randomly select 12 shadows, and then I also do a couple looks with the shades in that palette. So if you're interested in that, no pressure of course, but I'm gonna have that link down below. But for today, that's convenient because I can just pull shadows out of my boot and talk about them. So let's hop right in. The first shade is going to be Cleona Diadem. So this is a shade that I bought when Cleona did a huge expansion. I think that was in summer of 22 now. So even though it feels recent, it's really not that recent. I had done a ton of research. I watched so many creators' videos, and I purchased the 11 shades that I thought might be the most unique and interesting and add like a new perspective to my collection. And this is one of them. I feel like I wore it a couple times around when I first got it, and I really haven't touched it ever since. Looking at it now, it reminds me a lot of Divina Paleomon and Terra Moon's The Cosmos, both of which I love a lot, I think of a lot, I wear a lot. So it's interesting to think that I never connected so much with this shade, but I have connected so much with similar shades. I would say that if my whole collection ceased to exist and I was kind of repurchasing from scratch, I would repurchase both Paleomon and The Cosmos, even though they're kind of similar. I love them both. I know them both by name very well. I would repurchase those, and I would not repurchase Diadem just because it's similar to other shades that I just feel more connected with. Okay, next up we have Divina Frozen Waves. Ooh. So this is the shade that I actually did not purchase myself the first time. I got this in PR from the brand, but I can tell you, I absolutely love this shade. So pretty. I love this like purpley berry base to it with the teal shimmer, and I think you can see also this like pink shimmer running through it as well. It's such a unique shade in my collection. Because the base is a little bit more grounded, I find it to be very wearable, but it's also very special. I'm pretty sure this shade made it into my 40 top singles palette that I did several months ago. So yeah, even though I did not purchase this the first time, if my collection evaporated, I would definitely add the shadow back into it. Next up we have Luxie Honey Pot. In my Luxie palette, I have so many like brownish neutrals, which is one of the reasons I've mentioned like needing to do a declutter of these Luxie shadows, because I look at them and I'm like, oh no, which one is Honey Pot? So let me start off by saying I can't repurchase Honey Pot because Luxie's website has been down for several months. One could assume that they are not coming back. But let's talk about this in a world where I could repurchase it. I would say this is a nice shadow. It's like a pretty bronze, but I cannot tell you the last time I reached for this. And as I pointed out, the fact that I have so many Luxie shadows that kind of like blend together in my mind, if I had the opportunity to re-curate my Luxie collection, I would be very strategic about which bronze shadow I would bring into my collection. I mean, and not even the opportunity to just recurate my Lucy shadows, but the opportunity to recurate my single shadows as a whole. I would consider my favorite bronze shadow, and it would probably be maybe Bronze Fountain or Corrosion from Cleona. Maybe it would be Sweetie Sunbeam from Divina, or I feel like there's another bronze from Divina that I can't think of the name of it right now. But all that to say, Honeypot, while I think it's a nice shadow, and it was especially always nice for being a $3 shadow from Luxie, it's not my favorite bronze, so I wouldn't repurchase it. Next up we have Shine by SD Queen of Chaos. Look how beautiful. This shade was part of the collab with Shine by SD and M. Jones 5018 and Bizarre Revolta. And this was, they've done the 2 rounds now. This was part of the original collection, I believe, which was in like probably 2022. I love this shadow. It's so pretty. It's so sparkly and shifty. It's kind of similar to what I have in my eyes today. I have Nocturne Ash on my eyes. This is like a bit more of a purpley version of this, I'd say. This shadow, sadly, isn't available anymore. I wish it was. These were so, so good. I say these because I'm also, oh my god, I almost dropped it. I'm also talking about Mountain Magic, which was part of the same collection. I love both of these so much. So sadly, I could not repurchase it if I didn't have it anymore, but I would want to. I would forever long for this shade because I really like it. I think it's so beautiful. Okay, let's see what we get next. Cleona Ochre. I really think of this shade quite highly, but I haven't used it in a while. This is like a really pretty chartreuse. Ooh. And it has like a bronziness to it also. Yeah, I would definitely repurchase this. This is, am I ready to make a bold claim? I would say this is one of my top 12 Cleona shades, maybe? It's hard to say without actually ranking it, because I'm like looking down at all of my Cleona shades right now, and I'm like, but I like so many of them. I think I could say Ochre is one of my top 12. And I think if all of my shadows poofed into thin air, I think I would purchase more than 12 Cleona shadows in my first go. Maybe I'd purchase 16. And I think Ochre would be one of those 16 that I would repurchase. I need to remember to wear this soon. Okay, next we have Copacetic Resentful Longing. Okay, to figure out which one of these that is. I did this Copacetic swatch video in the beginning of the year. You may remember I had ordered a bunch of flakies because Ball Drop, this one up here, is a fantastic shadow, and that happens to be one of their flakies. So I was like, maybe their flakies are really good. My experience in that video, if you recall, was less than positive. There were a couple of them that I liked, but I can tell you there was enough of them that I didn't like that I have not been reaching for these copacetic shades at all. I think this is an area of my collection that could really benefit from some decluttering, because if I know I've gotten rid of the worst ones, I might reach in for the good ones. So all that to say, do I remember if Resentful Longing was one of the good ones? No. I do remember that they swatched bad. Even the ones that I liked swatched bad. So I don't know, looking at this, I'm like, it has a little bit, you know, like it's shiny. It's shiny and the tone of it is nice, but I'm going to have to either try them all out again, or probably what I'm more realistically going to do, rewatch my own video and see which ones I liked and get rid of the ones I didn't. But all of that being said, if I didn't have my collection anymore, I think it would take me a long time before I made another order from Copacetic. Even the couple older ones that I really do like, I don't reach into this palette. I don't think about them that much. It would take me a while before I was like, oh, let me get Ball Drop and Transmutation again. So yeah, Resentful Longing, I would not be repurchasing. Okay, let's do 2 more. The next one is going to be the suspense. Shine by SD Symphony. Okay, so Symphony was one of their Halo Horizon shades. I don't know if they're still calling their holographic shadows Halo Horizon, because I do know that they like reformulated all of them and like they re-released them, and I'm pretty sure this was one of the original ones and it's not a shade that, you know, was reformulated for their new batch. I think the whole new batch was like new ones. So I have some mixed feelings about this. I think you can see it is like, it is shiny, but it also feels more like a pressed glitter. Like, I didn't try any of their new holographic ones, but I could imagine that's the reason why they reformulated them, because it doesn't feel like a pressed eyeshadow. I did wear it a couple times and I liked it, but it takes a little bit more work because it performs like a pressed glitter. It doesn't cover your whole lid. You know, like you'd really have to like put it over a specific area or have something underneath to give you pigment underneath so that this is able to like not blend evenly, you know what I mean? So even though this is a pretty shade, I've gotten looks out of it that I liked. If I didn't have it anymore and if I still had the opportunity to repurchase it, I wouldn't repurchase it. Okay, and the final shade, let us get a good one. Ooh, Pretties for Your Face Spine Tingling. This shadow was part of my most recent Pretties for Your Face purchase. And some of these shadows were so gorgeous and sparkly. I love these cool tone sparkles. It has like, oh, it has such a nice texture. I haven't been reaching for these enough, but I need to, because it's just so nice. It's so nice and easy to work with, plays well with others. I think this is one of their $10 shades, but they often have 50% off sales, and often you can use a code on top of that and get it for $4. And I just feel like nowhere else, at least currently in the indie eyeshadow community, can you get a shade this sparkly for $4. I mean, there's $20 shades that aren't as sparkly as this $4 shade. So yeah, if I lost my eyeshadow collection, I would definitely make an order from Pretties for Your Face, and I would repurchase Spine Tingling. So there you have it. There is Cleona Diadem, Divina Frozen Waves, Luxie Honey Pot, Shine by SD Queen of Chaos, Cleona Ochre, Copacetic Resentful Longing, Shine by SD Symphony, and Pretties for Your Face Spine Tingling. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't checked out the original, which was Bad to the Brows video, I'm gonna leave that link down below so you can go check her video out. This was very fun to do. I always love finding like new applications for my little resource of slips that say my single shadow names on them. And it helps me get into the mindset of looking at my shadows critically, which I'm going to need to do very soon as I start to declutter my single shadows a little bit. Also, another reminder that I do randomly select eyeshadow palettes on my Patreon every month, and if you signed up, you would be able to see all of the videos that I've done over the course of this year. But again, of course, no pressure. If you enjoyed this, I hope you will give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.